Hello, today we're talking about a spectacular story and a beautiful church. We are going to start from Piazza Navona. If you're on the piazza, find a cafe called the Tre Tartufi, of the Three Truffles, and take the little street that is right next to it. Walk a little bit, maybe 50 meters, you're going to find a cafe and with lots of ivy on the building. That is the Caffè della Pace, the Cafe of the Peace. And if you look to your right, you're going to find a little road with, at the end of it, a really beautiful, teeny-weeny little church. That's where we're going today, Santa Maria della Pace. This church used to be the church of the Acquaioli of the Water Sellers Guild in the Middle Ages. Who were the water sellers? Well, Rome had beautiful aqueducts during ancient Roman times, but the barbarians had cut them down, so the population with no water had gone from 1, even 2 million people to 20,000 people. And these water sellers, the good ones, would get the water from the water wells around town and go and sell it. But the rogue ones would get the water from the river Tiber, decanted, and then sell it, which was not quite as good as the water from the sources. Now, what happened in the late 1400s? A pope that you'll come to know because he was really, well, he did a lot of things for Rome. Sybils IV della of the oak, so his symbol was the oak tree, decided to build this church almost as giving thanks for not having started a war. Why? What had he done? Something really pretty naughty. Although he was a pope, at the time, remember, popes in Rome were also kings. So don't think of him as just a moral authority. At the time, Sybils IV was the king. Why do you know him? Because he is the one who built the Sistine Chapel and had it decorated. Not by Michelangelo, that would be another pope of the Rovere family, Julius II, a few years later. But he had it decorated by Botticelli and many other wonderful artists of the time. So he had the Sistine Chapel built, and also there's a Santa Maria della Pace. Why? Because he had taken part, or at least he knew about, the plot of a coup to take down the Medici dynasty in Florence. What had happened? Well, Pope Sybils IV wanted some land for his nephews. He had set his mind on buying land near Imola. Imola is where the San Marino Grand Prix of Formula One runs every year. And what had happened? He needed money. His bankers were the Medici. But the Medici didn't want to give him the money. So he went to the enemies of the Medici, the Pazzi. The Pazzi was a rival faction in Florence, and they wanted to seize power. And they actually did give him the money. And so, well, the Pazzi wanted power in Florence. And imagine the scene. You are in the Florence Cathedral at High Mass with all the dignitaries on Sunday. Lawrence the Magnificent was there, the ruler in Florence, with his brother, and all the other bigwigs of Florence. And a few assassins, including the Pazzi conspirators, at first killed Lawrence the Magnificent's brother, and then tried to kill Lorenzo il Magnifico, Lawrence the Magnificent, the ruler. Luckily, he managed to fight with a short sword and escaped to the sacristy, and then managed to escape. And then he just crushed the people who were revolting against him. Normally, the executions were done sort of outside town. But he decided to show an example to everybody, and he had them hanged in all the major places. In Piazza della Signoria, off a high window near the Loggia dei Lanzi. And so the example was set, and also a big message to the Pope. You know, your Pazzi are not going to have this throne. And so Sybils IV was really quite apprehensive that a war might break out. And so he had this beautiful church rebuilt. It's also said that a Madonna led in this church, and hence the church was rebuilt. But what I want you to do is have a look at it from the outside and spot the signs. You're going to spot the signs of Sisters the Fourth. I challenge you to do that, like a treasure hunt. Find the big oak trees and the marks of Sisters the Fourth. You might also find other marks of Alexander the Seventh. That's a pope that has come much, much later. And this particular pope, Alexander the Seventh, is the one who had the colonnade around St. Peter's Square built. And you will see he was of the Chigi family. His signs were the mounds with a star on top. You're going to see that. And why am I telling you he was from the Chigi family? Because as soon as you get into Santa Maria della Pace, I want you to look at the first chapel on the right. That is going to be the Cappella Chigi, the Chigi chapel. Why? Because at the banker of the subsequent popes was Agostino Chigi. Now, Agostino Chigi, we saw him because he's the one who built Villa Farnesina. Super magnificently wealthy. And what did he do? He, had part of his chapel decorated by Raphael. At the same time as Michelangelo was decorating the Sistine Chapel in the Vatican, Michelangelo was drawing and painting the Sybils, and so was Raphael. So here you're gonna see not Michelangelo's Sybils that are in the Sistine Chapel on the ceiling, but you're gonna find Raphael's Sybils. So if you're gonna spot one thing in this church, just look at that. Normally in this church there are some art academy students that will tell you more about the church itself. But what I want you to do is get out of the church. If you look at it on the left, you're going to find a little door. Get inside the chiostro del Bramante, the Bramante cloister. The cloister is beautiful in itself. It was built by Bramante between 1500 and 1504. And Bramante, who was he? He was the one that under Julius, that had the guts of taking down the old Constantinian Basilica of St. Peter's and making a plan for the new basilica under Pope Julius II, who was the nephew of Sisters IV, della Rovere, both of them. And so Julius II was the one who commissioned Michelangelo the painting of the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. So both popes, Sisters II and Sisters IV and Julius II of the same family, della Rovere, find the oak trees everywhere. And Bramante built this beautiful cloister. I want you to go on the first floor. Why? We had to take pictures, but also, so Bramante did it for a cardinal called Carafa. You're going to find the signs of the Carafa cardinal there, but I want you to go upstairs. There is a bookshop. There's also a beautiful cafe. So you can have a beautiful aperitif or coffee and something to eat on the first floor of the cloister. The cloister is also well known because it holds temporary exhibitions, and you might see those. But what I want you to do is to have a look on the first floor, find the entrance of the cafe itself. It's called Il Bar delle Sybille, the bar of the cafe of the Sybils. There's a little door, get inside, and you're going to find a little window. I want you to go to that window. In 2016, you cannot miss it because it's all painted purple around it, modern painted purple, which is really interesting. Have a look through the window. You are going to be on the first floor of the church of Santa Maria della Pace, and you are looking straight across to the arch, the big arch, where the Raphael's Sybils are painted. It's a spectacular experience, I reckon. And when you're done, get outside, have books, coffees, aperitifs, cocktails, and then go for a beautiful walk. So I will see you in the next video. In the meantime, if you liked this one, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel. You can download my book at romeathome.com.au/book, or you can get the whole course on Rome, that is at romeathome.com.au/video course. If you're wondering where I am on the beautiful Gold Coast, right next to the Art Centre. And at the back of me there is Surfers Paradise, and here they are building a spectacularly big new art precinct. From the Gold Coast, Maria Cristina. Ciao!